Hey guys, okay, I'm back with another student loan update video. I wanted to give you a few things happened since the last video I put out, so I wanted to kind of come back and tell you guys so you guys are keeping abreast of what's going on. These things may directly impact you, so I want you to be prepared. I'm gonna give you some tips about what to do, what to not do, so let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about the first new development. So remember I did a video maybe in the summertime that said that FedLoan's servicer was not going to be renewing their contract, and at the end of this year, they were no longer be servicing federally backed loans. Well, as of I think Thursday, there's been some updates to that, right? So if FedLoan was your servicer, you're going to have them for perhaps another year. What they did is came to an agreement with the federal government to still extend the contract until December 2022. I think a lot of it came because FedLoan servicer, they not only service the federally backed loans for just everybody, but they were the major servicer dealing with the public service loan forgiveness program. And we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later, but federal government's like, no, we can't afford for y'all just to bounce that quick, and we have other things we are doing right now. There's a whole overhaul for the public service loan forgiveness. If FedLoans was to leave by the end of the year, that would throw a monkey wrench in a lot of plans. So what's happening is they're going to extend the contract until December 2022. But what's going to happen for some of the people that just have regular loans with them, they're going to slowly be putting you to another loan servicer. So as I mentioned before, what you should be doing is making sure your contact information, if you have FedLoans as a servicer, make sure your contact information is up to date, because they've been sending out emails to make sure that they can contact you. So that's something that you should do. Also, make sure you have a record of all your payments you've made, so that if there's any problems with the transition, you don't have any problems like they lost my payments. No, don't worry, I have a record of it myself. So keep that in mind. But perhaps you will have FedLoans for another year, and they still will be managing the public service loan forgiveness program, at least until the federal government comes up with a new service to take over that. So that's big news for people who were previously thinking that it was going to be a done deal at the end of the year. That's no longer the case. You have another year, maybe a little less as they slowly transition out, but keep that in mind because that may directly impact you. Okay, so the next update is particular to the public service loan forgiveness. I have a whole bunch of videos. If you haven't checked it out already, go to our Everything Student Loans playlist. But the public service loan forgiveness is the loan forgiveness program that's particular to public servants. So if you work in the public sector, either federal or state or county, and you work in nonprofit, then you qualify for loan forgiveness after you made 120 payments, right? So they've done a big overhaul on it, and they've been accepting payments. It's a waiver until next October. If you submit your form, your employment certification form, there's a waiver about the certain loan payment program, the loan payment program you had to be on, or if you had late payments. All those are being waived. As long as you make payments, they were going to count them as payments towards your 120 payments, right? So what I've been seeing is people have been saying, commenting on other videos, saying, I got an email saying that they still denied it. And so people have been inundated like, what's going on? I thought you said that, they were approving, and they were, right? Federal Student Aid was the federal agency that's actually dealing with the overhaul, right? And then they have to push it out to all the loan servicers. There's a gap between federal service, FSA, pushing it over to the loan servicers. So the loan servicers don't have really guidance about what they should be doing, what they should be approving and denying. So some people may have been prematurely denied for the public service loan forgiveness after this whole overhaul went through. I think it was about a month ago, right? But if you saw, I'll put a little email, the screenshot of the email that FSA sent out saying like, hey, the education secretary says, we understand that people have been getting some mixed signals about it. Don't worry, it's going to take a little time for everybody to get the information, everybody meaning the services to get the information. So if you got a denial email, be on the lookout. You perhaps may get a retraction of that and say, hey, okay, we're gonna account some of these payments. You're not denied. As of last week, people actually were approved for the actual loan forgiveness. So I think maybe about $5 million worth of loan forgiveness actually went into effect based on the new overhaul, right? So you may have been one of those lucky people. Congratulations for you if you were. We're waiting. Everybody else is waiting for their time, but it's actually being approved. So if you got the email, don't be discouraged. They put out another email saying that they're still working through things. So keep your contact information up to date, because I get emails as soon as they come through and I'm like, okay, we know what's going on. put in your employment certification form, so that it basically triggers a review of things at the loan servicer and with FSA. So keep that in mind to keep things up to date, and you can get a review as quickly as possible. So that's the newest news on public service loan forgiveness. Well, one of the bigger news about the loan forgiveness.